questions, press 2.
An hour late, almost 45 minutes.
Hey,
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
all the kids are
three,
late at
two,
work all the time
1.
anyway these days. So what the hell? Jeez.
Missed it by that much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have found yourself in the Sports Attic on this Tuesday night.
Missed it by that much.
For those of y'all listening live, watching live, thanks for sticking with us. It's the Sports Attic at Larcher Lawrenson on Twitter, twitch.com/Sports Attic. Facebook, search for us, Larcher and Lawrenson. You can find us all those places. And always, we are on Blog Talk Radio. Grab us wherever you grab your podcasts. Oh, what the hell? I'm going to hand it right over to you, Al. Alfred Ferdinand Larcher III. Hello, sir.
Well, what a delightful evening it is. You know, you wake up from a deep somber because you couldn't sleep all day. Just heartbroken over the fact that Gisele Bündchen has gone ahead and hired a divorce attorney. It looks like her and Tom Brady are done, and hopefully that leads to maybe a chance with me.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm so sorry to hear. I had no idea. I really didn't know that is what had happened. I don't care so much. I don't know. I mean, it's sad when a relationship breaks up. I know my parents were divorced, Al. I know you're from a family that the same kind of thing. It is definitely a sad thing, but I mean, what have you? Is it going back to football, working too much? Is that it?
Well, I mean, it looks like it was him going back to football that caused the divorce. The man is such a legend. The man is such a GOAT. You know, he chose playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a flawed offensive line over one of the hottest women in the world. I mean, that guy deserves another level of GOAT, is what I'm saying. I mean, you take GOAT, I don't know what the next level of GOAT, mega GOAT maybe?
I'd say good on him. Like, hey, sure, I guess. So be it. I don't know. It's not something that I would see myself doing, brother, but so be it. Rest in peace. That must be breaking news.
Well, you're also not an NFL quarterback, Clark.
Hang on, what?
You say you wouldn't do it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you would leave your scooter job over your wife. I'm pretty certain that's not going to happen.
Hang on a minute. I just might. I'll ask her later if she thinks I should. Maybe. It depends. My scooter job. Job. Thank you.
Your tour guide.
How's your little microphone job going? Love it.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Neat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful.
You want to get
Holy
high?
hell, Al. I'd just like to say a big thank you to Kevin. I know you had a lot of kind words there. Kevin from Support over there with our studios that got
Did you figure out the problem before he did with the browser?
Huh?
Did you figure out the browser problem, or did Kevin?
We figured it out together. Kevin said that was going to be my next suggestion after I had suggested, is it Chrome or Firefox? That was it. But it was him pointing out some kind of lock. There's some kind of a lock over there on the Fire. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they need to unlock that shit. You know, I'm not a millennial. I'm not part of this new generation that understands why there are locks on web pages and whatnot. Like, that's confusing to me. I just want to play fantasy football and smoke weed and talk about, the Chicago Bears and catalytic converters being stolen as I'm doing fantasy football.
That. I got to hear that story. That is fantastic. But I think that what the folks want to hear, those who listen to both shows, those who watch both shows, will know that the other morning we did a show, Friday morning, the Daily Fantasy Show, the Sports Attic Daily Fantasy podcast that you can you can listen to every Friday morning.
By the
live.
way, I hope people picked up on my, lock of the week was Rashard Penny of the Seattle Seahawks. I hope people listened to me and made a lot of money this week.
Well done. Did you listen to yourself?
Yeah, I did. I didn't make any money, but I listened to myself.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. But is Rygar okay? You seem to be okay. I know Rygar took us down. The cat walked right over.
So
I'm not happy with us.
The cat was producing the show, and we set an hour time limit to do the 5 a.m. show, and it was about 6:10. So the cat jumps into my lap, looks into the camera, meows, gets pissed off, jumps out of my lap, goes behind the TV, and literally pulls the plug. She steps on the power converter. She steps on the button that turned everything off. It turned off the Wi-Fi connection, essentially ending the program. So the cat literally, ended the show.
Yeah, it was unreal. Like you were just gone.
I don't know the sabotage drop.
Yeah, you were just gone, and
Here, 1 second.
I didn't know for sure if that's what had really happened. It seemed like a chance, but like straight up, the cat really knocked the Wi-Fi thing, right? The power strip with the Wi-Fi on it.
I sit in a recliner. I have an electronic recliner. I do the show. I know you have a nice studio. I literally just sit in a recliner and do the program.
You have a pretty nice studio as well. I don't know. Maybe you got rid of it. I don't know. I like
Yeah, it's in the other room. It's dusty.
Yeah, the other room. Yeah, I would hate to get you in there. Jesus.
No. Well, I mean, when you could sit in a nice recliner and do the show, versus
what if we get a recliner for the studio?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to wish that over here, I'm fine with that. But so I'll sit in the recliner, and sometimes the cat will get mad. I'm sitting in the recliner, and she wants to mess with me. So there's a very loose extension cord plugged into the wall behind the TV. So she'll go over, and I'll yell at her. I see her going over by it, and I'll go, Rygar, don't do that. Don't do it. She'll go over there, and she'll hit the thing, and then I'm trapped in the electronic recliner because I'm reclined, and you can't decline because the power is out. So now my fat ass has to do circus moves to get out of the recliner to be able to go plug the thing back in to be able to sit down. But there's also a power strip back there. Now, she's never done that before. But you know how the power strips have like a reset button, if they're the surge protector. If something goes wrong, there's a reset button. She must have walked over and hit the reset button. So, I mean, this cat is vindictive. Like, she knows how to produce a show, and she wants things on time. So
I get it. I'm surprised she seemed pretty calm about it tonight. Usually more fired up about it in the morning when we're really bothering her. Seems to be the issue there. That's where it really seems to be. That was a fantastic ending. I had a few people hit me up that were like, is everything okay over there?
Yeah.
Everything fine. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, what's going on over here? The palm for guava. Lick the palm for guava. Wondering why WSCR is playing nice with CHGO.
Yeah, well, you're an insider. What's up with that?
I'll get back to you on that. I don't really have all of the insides, but yeah, I'll get back to you as soon as I have a little bit more info. The rest of life is still taken over, so I haven't been working with them.
See about that.
Now that like there's more sports going on here coming up, the basketball shows and whatnot, I'll be jumping back in. But
and then the palm mentions sabotage drop, and my radio mind was thinking I was doing something with the sound effects.
Yeah,
I play all my season. Was shit.
I was thinking that was I was sabotaging playing drops over you or something, sabotaging the show. But I think he's referring to my issues that I posted on Twitter. That I looked in my friend's league. It's my buddy's wife's league, so it's it's a lot of hobbyists, I would say, amateurs, playing fantasy football.
It's your friend's wife's league, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of like her girlfriends and coworkers and people of this nature versus I'm just more hardcore.
Out of that league?
I don't think you were ever in that league.
I was. If it's the same one with P and K, then yeah, I think I might have been uninvited. Was I an asshole? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
yeah, they don't. No one likes you, Clark.
All
So,
right.
anyway, I looked at the waivers and I was looking at free agency pickups, and I see somebody dropped Aquarius St. Brown, the Sun God,
Wow. Yeah.
for Nico Hardman or Nico Collins or what are these scrubs? So I looked at the waiver order. Now there's two divisions. I'm in second place with a higher point total than the guy in first place. I'm playing the guy in first place this week. He happens to be the guy number one on the waiver wire. Now, I don't know what to do. Should I raise a bitch? Because you can't drop a player that's averaging 18 points a game. Like that's
Right.
criminal. That's not
Right.
that's fucking with the integrity of the league.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I also put a waiver in for the player, and if no one's paying attention, but anybody with a half a brain, anybody with a service, anybody who's just going to look at average point totals is going to realize that guy's a pickup.
Quick
So,
question. Are they tight? Are they significant others? What's the deal there? The two.
yeah,
Yeah.
Armand, not Aquarius. Sorry, I'm
Not
getting the
the
St.
Bears
Browns
St.
mixed
Brown,
up.
Lions St. Brown, right?
Yeah. I know they're two St. Browns. This is the Detroit Lions St. Brown, the Sun
Shout
God.
out to Sean over there for catching up with who the real boss is over there.
Oh, he knows. The cat's 100% in charge. And
Mm-hmm.
then don't get me started on going to the grocery store after the show last week, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should say something to the commissioner, but I don't. It's not. It's like a $10 league. It's a fun league. It's just people playing.
Well,
There is a chance for collusion. Yeah,
I misspell a conundrum, right? Like completely. That's not anywhere near.
I don't.
Belichick was not there. All right, good. I'm with you. That's fine. Al, there's a whole scandal here, a cheating scandal in your fantasy football league. It makes a lot of sense. There've been a lot of cheating scandals out there. There was a chess cheating scandal. Have you seen the fishing cheating scandal?
Well, the chess one is great. The guy used an electronic butt plug.
That's
was using vibrations from the remote control butt plug. So
are you impressed or pissed?
I think it's very creative, to be honest.
I mean, come on. If you're gonna cheat, that's it. Now, did you see the fishing one?
The fishing one? No.
Yeah. These fellas, they've won a few fishing competitions lately. You know that stuff gets pretty expensive, pretty intense and whatnot. It was a walleye fishing contest, and $29,000 to the winner. Everybody in the audience calling bullshit when you got the video. It went viral. You can watch it, and the leader finally, after so much time, the guy announcing it, the judge, whatnot, started feeling it. Cut it open, lead weights dropped out of these sumbitchin' fishes, and other fillets, like they had cut fillet off of other fish, shoved them into the mouth of these fish, as well as lead weights. They damn near didn't get out of there alive. Like all the other fishermen, like, what the fuck is happening here?
Well, look, Bill Belichick is very serious about winning. I see he takes it to his fishing game as well.
There's no blueprint.
Yep. Two-Tone, good to see you. I want to know how the hearing aids are going if you have a chance. I thought the guy was going to get lynched. I mean, I did too. I thought it was something else. The poker girl, Lick the Palm for Guava, says very clearly cheating. I'm going to go with, I disagree.
I don't think it's cheating.
I'm going to lean to 70% not cheating based on all of the time that I've played the poker. That said, because I don't, any of the things that other people have brought up, I think it's a lot of that she's not that great of a player. I think that she had it. Yeah, I think you're wrong on that, Guava. Absolutely wrong. I'm going to go with absolutely wrong. That's it. It's fine. Like, you're not wrong necessarily. All right. I'm 70-30. Everybody has their opinions. You seem like you're 100%. Al, I don't think it's 100%. I think that most of the poker world, it's split. And there's a lot of the poker world that doesn't think that it's cheating. We'll see. I mean, I
don't think it was cheating either, to be honest. I don't think it was.
Yeah. Same here. Like, I don't understand the, it's a wild one. Tony shared the thing, if anybody wants to follow it there, that video, Al, of the fishing one. There, let's put that on the screen. No fucking way, Clark. That is not the first time somebody has said that.
Yeah, no, I say that to you pretty much every day.
Yeah, absolutely. My Hazel was homesick again today, just like yesterday, and she said it to me at least 3 times. It was fine. The highlight of our day was when the new tree got delivered next door to the streetway. What do you call that? The parkway, when it's in the city's side of the sidewalk. Yep, that got delivered today.
My dog stepped on a bee.
She rocked up from 400 tables in March of this year to playing 6-figure tables while dating another guy at the table. Well, I mean, that sounds a little bit like collusion.
There is a little, sure, absolutely, but I just want to know how. Like, what do you think the cheating was? Do you think she had something electronic? You think that was it? Do you think he signaled her? Like, what is he signaling? I think she thought she had Jack 3. That's bottom line, and she got caught out after.
I know a guy who won the $1 million in the poker tournament. Maybe we'll get him on next week's.
He plays. He's a hell of a poker player.
Yeah, he's a good poker player.
Ben, right? Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Ben Keyline.
It's been a lot of fun to play. Like the poker world seems pretty split on it. It's pretty interesting. We'll see. We shall see.
We shall be free when the last poker table has no collusion.
Poker. Yeah. Well, all right. I mean, I've played some pretty shitty. I've played some pretty shitty poker in my life, and I have pissed some people off. Let's just say that, to where I've been accused of cheating, and then they realize soon after I'm just a fucking fish. Cool. That's all. Yeah.
Clark fancies himself a poker player. I've never seen him play. He never lets me play. He's never let me in a game with him. So
I've invited you in during the pandemic. When I got invited to games and I had a game that got me through the pandemic, you were busy doing D&D through that. We did our shows. You did D&D. We did our shows. I did poker. That was it.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Speaking of The Rock, could we talk about our guy, The Rock, Melvin Gordon III? First string
MG3
RB1 for Denver, helping the Larcher Lawrenson Collective in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Again, that's our team that we have together, the high stakes fantasy league.
It sure is. And, it's looking good. They brought in the other guy, the guy from the the New Orleans Saints. So there's going to be a little bit of competition there. I did put in on the waiver wire for, I think it's Mike Boone.
Mike Boone. I don't know anything about Mike Boone. I don't want to discuss it very much here. Yeah, no. Mike Boone is the backup. And then what are people making of that? Did they sign him just this week?
Yeah, I believe he was signed up for the practice squad after the game. I can't think of the guy's name. Help me out here.
Boone, Matt Boone, Mike Boone.
No, Boone has been on the team. Boone is on the team. Then they signed a veteran, whose name you would know.
Ingram.
No, it's not Ingram. I don't think it's
Kamara.
Ingram. No, it's not Kamara.
Right.
The guy who used to be in the Raiders, Latavius Murray, I think.
Oh yeah, Murray. Yeah, absolutely. Murray, Baltimore, Minnesota.
Yeah, so a journeyman running back who there may be an overreaction to him signing, so people might be afraid to pick up Boone. But I think Boone is the way to go there. So he's the waiver wire pick of the week. I definitely would look to get him.
Okay.
But yeah. So the Chicago Bears, they played a game. They're not very good.
No.
The game went as projected.
Okay.
In any case, I'm dropping Allen Robinson. Yeah, man, people are really down on the A-Rob. A-Rob and Kyle Pitts are the joke of fantasy football Twitter right now. Which one is worse is basically the question. And I got to go Pitts because he was higher equity. Although I think he has a chance of bouncing back because he's still getting opportunity. But
My thoughts on A-Rob is just that I had no idea like who he'd been, the last few years with the whole Nagy regime and whatnot, and the Mitch thing. Like I didn't know he had a solid year with us. Hell, he won me a fantasy league when he was still with the Jags, the future Chicago Jags, run by our friend Tony Khan. I don't know. Should have seen it coming. Who knows? I think you're right though. The bigger one would have been Pitts on that. What about like for us, like Mooney? If you drafted him, way too high.
yeah, well, I mean, you had to have known drafting any Chicago Bear came with a big risk.
Sure.
So, and you're talking about Mooney in like the 5th round versus, Kyle Pitts going in the 2-3 turn, or Allen Robinson was kind of in the Mooney spot as well. I think I would have probably rather have drafted Darnell Mooney over Allen Robinson prior to the season, but I didn't pull the trigger on either. So, I mean, I felt pretty good fading both of them, and that's turning out right. I also faded Kyle Pitts as well. I have no shares of Kyle Pitts. I have no shares of Allen Robinson. I have no shares of Cam Akers. I dodged a lot of bullets so far this season. I have a lot of St. Brown, including in the Scott Fishbowl,
Nice.
which week 2 I was 60th place. Week 3 I dropped down to like 294, and right now I think I'm at 475.
Okay.
In the Fishbowl. So I'm going backwards. I split wins this week. I beat the dude from Establish the Run, who actually handles the best ball, but I didn't beat that league average. So I went 1-1 this week.
Okay.
It takes 13 wins to get in the playoffs, and
I believe we did the same in the collective, right? We won the league, but we didn't beat the average there either.
Well, there's no average there.
But great job. Well, I mean, we still have the full one that we're going against, right? Like the full.
Yeah. There will be a week where we play the average.
Okay. I got to tell you, you did a great job. The pickup, one of the pickups of the week, wide receiver, Josh Reynolds from Detroit, got him in the starting lineup, made it happen. And then our bench there, Al, our bench scored pretty big too. I'm kind of excited about it, especially with the Gordon thing. We'll see how we do there. And that's the most expensive league that I'm a part of.
Well, we had Herbert, which was a gold mine. We had Mo Alley Cox, who put up 30 points. The dude's a stud. He's a solid tight end for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's only going to be getting better.
Well, we've already got Andrews, so I mean,
maybe we have Mark Andrews,
starting to do tight ends. I mean, at some point, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Our next drop is going to be Anderson, and Robbie Anderson's officially safe to drop.
Yeah. What about Tony?
Tony's a hold.
St. Brown.
I put the waiver in as him as the drop.
Okay.
I mean, if you would be interested in dropping Mooney, why would you be interested in keeping St. Brown? I like St. Brown's usage. I think he had a 95%. He was in on 95% of the Bears' offensive snaps last week. Mooney was on like 80. So of all the players outside of offensive linemen, St. Brown had the most equity. He had the most time on the field. But when your offense is only throwing the ball, 20 times on average, and it's as bad as the Carolina Panthers, you can't really look at the number 3 possible wide receiver or the number 2 wide receiver. So, it's just he's a hard guy. He's a guy you could drop and pick up again. Like he's not gonna no one's gonna jump on him when we drop him.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. You brought up the Bears. I know I'm jumping all around here, but that was a football game on Sunday in New York. They played football. The Bears kicker Santos was out with personal reasons. They picked up Michael Badgley. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think we should know these personal reasons. I don't think they should just tell you personal. I think you should, if your kicker's missing a game, by God, you should know what's going on. At least, did his father croak? Is his wife divorcing him?
Maybe his personal reasons are that he's not interested in you knowing his personal reasons. I don't know.
Well, I want to know his personal reasons. I demand, as a Bears
I mean,
fan, I demand.
They're not even telling you anything at all about Montgomery's injury. We day to day, like we don't know why are they going to tell us personal information like that? I don't know. It's something else. I don't know.
Well, if it's an injury, that's a different issue. You don't have to give me the exact injury. Although
Right.
I think you are required to
so,
say, like,
so I have to
what
tell you
limb
that
is
I have
hurt.
to tell you if I had to go home because my child is overreact. I don't want to discuss things about my child necessarily with you if there are some serious issues with my child going on at home. Personally,
I'm having some personal issues with my family at home. There,
Okay,
I at least
cool.
know the category.
I
I at
think
least know the category.
That's just
I
general.
want to know the
That's just-
category.
it's a slight step. That's a general thing. Personal family reasons, would that help?
That would help. You
Or
put
you
the
have to say
family
at
in there,
home.
okay. Enough said.
Yeah, fair.
Fair.
Daniel Jones, a hell of a touchdown score. I was unaware. He's great.
Yeah, Danny Dimes got the legs going. He's he would have been paying off in fantasy football if that game had any equity whatsoever.
Right.
But
absolutely. It was one of those frustrating games that the Chicago Bears play, but as it is, as I've said and you've said it, what's the difference between 8-9 and 4-13?
a better draft pick.
Draft picks. That's it. I don't know where we are right now. Great on that kicker to step in and just make every damn field goal that they needed from him. Neat. Great. Eddie Jackson, interception, seemed to have a better game than he has in the past. Herbert can't seem to get going. I don't know. Is that play calling out? What was it? Herbert didn't really score gangbusters this week for us.
Well, I mean, he did good from a fantasy perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
he did what his price point asked him to do. The issue with these guys who fill in at running back, when you have no offense, your only offense is running the ball, it's easy just a game plan to take the running back out. And I mean, I think that was the focus. I don't know if I'm going to even go back and watch this game again because I just don't care at this point. I don't, for a fantasy football perspective, there's nothing in the Bears that interests me. I can't get excited about a team that has zero offensive urgency.
Right.
From a fan aspect, I mean, I went into the season saying, look, this is a bad team. This is a year maybe to discover, to see if there's some players, because the rebuild starts next year. This isn't laying the foundation. This isn't putting the concrete down on the house. This is negotiating, buying the lot is where we're at right now in this rebuild process. So
Yep.
I'm not interested. I'm a construction guy. I'm a foreman, foreman larcher. I'm more interested in the construction and the rebuild of the team than the legalities of purchasing the land that the foundation's going to be built upon. So not interested right now in the Chicago Bears whatsoever. Because they're, I did the show with Kellen.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. And this guy, I told him, I said, look, Kellen, you can't get upset with the Bears. You get yourself crazy. You work yourself into a tizzy on Sundays and you let the Bears ruin your day when they lose. Well, you're going to have a lot of bad Sundays, pal, because this team is bad. Like, it's not going to get better. They're not going to go on some, 6-game win streak and there's going to be talks of the playoffs. This is a bad team that's going to continue to be bad. And you do something else. Watch some good football on Sundays. Avoid this team. Watch the highlights. That's all you need. I mean, what did Justin Fields do this week? 22 passing attempts, 17 passing attempts, 11 passing attempts, 17 passing attempts.
So
those are the 4 weeks of football so far.
22 is the most. 22 is the most so far. Wow. Yeah. All right then. I guess so. It doesn't appear that they're doing everything they can to win football games right now. Would that be an incorrect thing to say?
You know what the fishermen should have done is they should have just put butt plugs in the fish to get the weight, and kind of do like what the poker guy did, or not the poker person, but
The chess. Yeah.
the chess.
Well, no, but then you can see that. Like the issue was these guys have obviously gotten away with it before. Like people have called them on that, if you will, on the weight of the fish before that. You got to see the video. Like they literally they use cut up fillets to put in. Like what the fuck? That's some
Crazy.
Yeah, it was impressive. They got away. Uh-oh. Elijah jumping in over there on the Twitch. And saying things aren't great. I'm sad. And then there it is.
That's the key one. Just leave that. Is there a way to pin that?
Clark needs a dose of, here. I'll click favorite on it. So
where's the pin?
Then you can click it later. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that should be pulled up quite often because anytime I'm having a conversation with you, I feel like I need that quote to pop up.
Clark needs a dose of reality here and there. Hey, I don't live in reality. There isn't a reality. Like we're all here just to enjoy life, take the roller coaster ride. Who gives a shit? That's all.
Yeah, so the Bears are bad. I mean, that's the bottom line. Completion rate 50% this week for Justin Fields. 174 yards, his highest on the season. Let that sink in. 174 yards, 4 games in the season is your quarterback's highest in yardage. No interceptions this week, so that's a plus. And I every time I mention the offensive line is terrible for the Bears, people keep telling me it's getting better. Well, here's so far. Week 1 in the monsoon, they allowed 2 sacks. Week 2, they allowed 3 sacks. Week 3, last week against the worst defensive line in football, they allowed 5 sacks. This week against the New York Giants, they allowed 6 sacks. So every game progressively they've allowed more sacks. So if we're following the trend, that means this. Are you frozen, Clark? Am I?
No, on? I'm right here. I'm here. I'm listening.
You're ghosting over there.
I'm going to find a little thing here. All
right. Well, maybe move, breathe a little. So I know you're not frozen. I thought maybe I was done. So if we're following the trend, that means the Bears should allow 8 to 9 sacks this coming week. Thank you. I appreciate the finger wagging. That helps.
No problem.
The Minnesota Vikings.
8 to 9 sackings comes up. Here's what I'm going to read from @CoxSports1, Lauren Cox. Justin Fields was under pressure on 51.4% of his dropbacks against the Giants. On plays where he was kept clean, he went 10 for 14 for 168 yards with a PFF grade of 90.3.
Yeah. The dude's I'm not giving up on Justin Fields.
What do we have? I'm not either, but what's Guava in there saying that Poles is done? Like he's not a part of the future in Poles' plan. What do you say to that? What say you?
I think that's inaccurate. I think that's a popular opinion going around the Twitterverse. But the fact is, Josh Allen was pretty much ran out of the Buffalo Bills 2 years into his career. It was a really bad situation that people thought they were ready to give up on him. They were calling him a bust. In that draft, I think he went like the 9th pick, somewhere in there, where, I think Mayfield may have went 1. It was an ugly, ugly draft, but the Baltimore Ravens took Lamar Jackson at 30th. So people were really, really down on it. But in year 2, Josh Allen was throwing to Cole Beasley, John Brown, and McKenzie, who's still his 3rd wide receiver. That was Brown's only 1,000-yard season. Their offensive line finished that year as the 21st ranked offensive line, which is only slightly better than what the Bears have. So, if you have a talented quarterback out there, and I think we can all admit that Josh Allen is an elite quarterback, but you surround him with receivers who aren't quality, who aren't stars, who aren't studs, and you put him behind an offensive line that's garbage, it's hard to be a quarterback in the NFL, especially a young quarterback who doesn't have the experience and the know-how of, say, a Tom Brady to be able to work around a bad offensive situation. So I just, and Tom Brady, by the way, when his receivers are all out and his offensive line is falling apart, they're losing games and he looks like garbage. So, what is it? What do we have? It's impossible to say. And this year, it's not worth getting frustrated over. It's not worth watching Justin Fields and saying this guy's garbage because you just don't know. But if you watch these games and you invest in it emotionally, you're going to have negative thoughts about Justin Fields because he is the quarterback and things are bad right now.
Yeah. I'm going to go with this here that I don't see the Bears winning this upcoming Sunday. I'm going to be out of town on a family getaway Saturday through Monday here, and I'm going to take
the life of Riley. This guy lives.
I'm going to take the time to watch the game, of course, but I don't know. Bears appear to be who we thought they were.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't see any other thing about it. Like, that's it. Let's see what another offseason can do for this regime here. And if you are, how about this? If you're Ryan Poles and you are not planning on Justin Fields being a part, and I'm not saying that's the case, but if that is, Al, what are your plans then? What are your thoughts here?
At this point, I would rather fire Ryan Poles than Justin Fields.
Currently. I mean, that's obviously not the current question, right?
Well, it should be.
My question is, what are the other options for Ryan Poles? I'm not asking that that's you. What are the other options?
Depending on how high our draft pick is and what quarterbacks are available,
I mean,
there is an option to be able to draft a quarterback and start this process all over again.
Lick the Palm is saying we can bounce back on the Washington game, but why? Why? Other than keeping the confidence of the quarterback up. But if they move,
I think Ron Rivera's Washington Redskins beat us. They're pretty bad
at home. I was looking at prices of games, Al. We can get into the stadium for under $100, which is a lot cheaper than what you can get into Dallas Stadium on Sunday at noon on Halloween weekend. It looks like if I want to have a seat, I've got to spend at least $180. If I want standing room only, it's $50. I don't like standing. I don't want to go into a fucking game to stand. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little upset about this. I do want to see that stadium, but I don't want to fucking stand there. And my buddy Andrew is behind there. We're going to be fucking standing. Andrew, I want a seat, buddy. Ugh.
Tell that cheap prick that's a deal breaker.
I told him, I go, my budget was going to be $250 to $300 for a seat in that stadium, but I don't want to spend that to have a shit seat either. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of places you sit in there, you're watching it on the screen, which I've already gotten into. Like, the trip isn't necessarily about watching football on the, you know what I mean? Like, it's the Bears this year, right? Like, it's getting that stadium. Go ahead.
As somebody who's been in that stadium, it's a very nice place. I mean, I only paid like $150, I think, for a WrestleMania ticket there.
Look, I have known the absurdity of ticket prices. I have known that it's hard to get into, our little stadium down on the lake there, which isn't going to hold up for years. As you know me, I've been like, man, too small of a stadium. Can't do it here in town anymore.
Time to move on.
Yeah, time to give it up. Yep. You can't get in there very often for under $200. We're a very travelable city. Travelable.
We talking Looney Tunes. That's what we talking, fool.
NFL, going to an NFL game is an elite. It's an elite play. It's for suburban families. The dad's a stockbroker. They got 5 kids, and they spend thousands of dollars to sit and watch bad football. It's not. And the working class doesn't go to watch football anymore. You stay at home. It's more comfortable, quite frankly. The game is better viewed on television than it is in person. You're
Watching
better off.
watching the NFL at home is a superior product.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. 100% a superior product. Yep. Wow.
Yeah, it does blow in person because no matter where you sit, you're only seeing like a quarter of the game. You know, if you sit in the end zone, you could see plays coming in for touchdowns, which is cool, but it's only one side.
One time, a buddy of a buddy got a hold of the Rocky Wirtz seats at the Bears, which is at the 50-yard line, and it's right underneath. I was 2014 Lovie Smith's return game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We were sitting right. It was raining. The seats in front of us were getting wet. We were not. It's like, man, the Blackhawks figured this out. 50-yard line, the first section. There, like those seats there, you could see everything going on, right?
Yeah.
But you're not catching everything still.
No.
Like the TV experience of it is a better product.
The replays, the television production, even the horrible commentary, like everything is just better at home. Your salsa, like you have better salsa selection.
True.
You can get up. It's to get to the facilities, to get to the washroom, a lot easier. There's zero wait. You know, you can wash your hands. You know, you can even take a shower during halftime. Like it's just better to stay at home.
Oh, I
That's why
bet
I
a
don't leave the
halftime
house.
shower is your way to go these days. That's perfect with that
yeah.
fucking crazy Sunday schedule you got. Fantastic. Taco bar this past Sunday for Bears football, followed by after game chili, followed by soon after that, my youngest daughter threw up all over her mother and ended the party. You know, so they both stayed home yesterday, and because Hazel has had a bit of a cough and hit a mild fever. That fever does seem to be. She stayed home again today. It does seem to be gone, but yeah, that ended the party. It was done. We were going to be watching football all afternoon. That was it. She's good. She's okay.
So every time I go to a football game, to quote the palm here, every time I go to a football game, afterwards I go, okay, this is the last time I'm going to a game. That was fun. I like the experience, but I'm never going to a football game again. And then I somehow always end up going to, a football game every couple of years. But since I've been doing DraftKings and since I'm so focused on daily fantasy, it's hard to walk away on a Sunday because I'm up all night doing daily fantasy stuff. And speaking of vomiting, last week after the show, I went grocery shopping. Now we ran late, as I think we will tonight. We ran late, and the grocery store closes at 10 o'clock. So I got there like 9:20. I rushed over there, and I was hungry. I was feeling a little, my blood sugars were off.
Sure.
So I'm like 75% through shopping, and all of a sudden, I feel like I just turned white as a ghost, and I start feeling really nauseous.
Not a great bathroom over there, by the way. I don't know if you're getting there, but not a great bathroom. Go ahead.
Well, no, there's no way you can make there's probably a code on the door. You got to figure out where it is.
No
I'm
code.
at Mariano's. I'm at Mariano's in Elston.
Okay.
So I go. I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to vomit? Am I just going to throw up in the middle of the aisle? So I was luckily right in the section where they sell garbage bags. So I grab a box of garbage bags, and I'm like, if I puke, I could probably hold up for enough time to rip open a garbage bag and puke into the garbage bag. I was being generous. I was being a nice guy. So the feeling kind of washed over, and I was just feeling very weak. I was feeling like I had zero energy.
Like that heat that goes over you, like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was feeling, I'm like, okay, well, I'm 90% done with my shopping. I just have to go through the frozen food section and pick up some Tostino pizza rolls and get to the checkout line and just get out of here. Now I'm at Mariano's.
That Ninja Foodie does them. That Ninja Foodie does those pretty well, by the way.
Oh, perfectly.
Yep.
I'm in Mariano's where you pay a little bit more money, but you get better service, right? So I pull my cart up to the checkout line. Every single line is closed except the self-checkout. Now I have a cart. I have a week and a half worth of food. I have a full cart. I have zero energy. I don't feel well. I just want to get out of there. I walk over and I look at the lady and I go, excuse me, there's no lines open. She goes, yeah, you just have to use the self-checkout. Now they're 15 minutes before close. I go, well, I pay extra money to come here instead of Aldi where I could bag my own shit because you guys offer a service you're not providing right now. She goes, sir, we'll bag your groceries for you. I go, okay, but I still have to do the checkout myself at this small lane. This isn't designed for a cart full of stuff. You don't have a conveyor belt. You don't have room to put stuff. You got to take stuff out of the cart, scan it, have the lady, which is now very uncomfortable because she's mad at you, bag the stuff, and then where do you put it? You can't put it back in the cart because the cart's still full of shit.
Well,
so
she's not putting the cold in with the cold at that point. There's not a chance. There's like you're in trouble. Yeah.
So I wasn't yelling at her, but I started explaining like, look, I don't understand this. I'm like, I went down the street 2 weeks ago to Jewel and I had the exact same situation. And I said, I'm not going back to Jewel. I'm going to pay the premium to come to Mariano's so I don't have to worry about this. And I start telling her, like, look, I'm feeling faint right now. I mean, it was a total Karen moment. And she's just kind of looking over at me. And I look at her, I go, look, I know you don't want to hear this. And she's like, sir, I can do nothing about this. I'm just making, I'm just working. And I'm like, I understand. And then I got off her ass, and then I tried tipping her at the end because I felt like a prick and she wouldn't take my tip.
Yeah,
She's like, I can't take the tip. I'm like, well, this is bullshit all around. Your company blows.
The tip is interesting to me, and that's all.
Bananas weigh as much as snakes. Good call.
That's funny.
You know what I heard they do though? I heard they catch you on camera and they hold you and they put you in a file. Like, let's say you're stealing things, you're forgetting to scan something, or you're mis-scanning things. They put you in a file, and then they wait till you've taken enough stuff. Every time you come, they tag you, and they put you in a computer file, and they wait till you've taken enough stuff that it's a felony. Then they process it to the police department. That's what I heard. Maybe that's an urban wise tale to keep people from stealing.
It probably
that's
is.
What I heard.
I've noticed they aren't watching shit.
No, they're not paying attention.
But
the camera is.
I have a friend who was at Walmart a couple months back. Took their kids to go to the fair out in Belvedere, and they stopped at a Walmart before. They weren't thinking about cash.
When
And
it
then
came
like,
to
shit,
the
I'm going to a
door.
fair, and they were like, "Hey, I need $80 cash back." Cool. Got home later that evening and realized they didn't have the $80 cash. Went back the next day, had them check the video. Somebody at the next thing over, looked over, saw it happening the whole time. Waited until my friend walked away. We don't discuss this upstairs, by the way. It hasn't been mentioned. Walked away with two kids, by the way, grabbed that money and took off. Isn't that something? Is that not something else? Is that not something else?
I
hope that you guys save those files so you can keep an eye on who this low-life scumbag is that did that. I want to know who the low-life scumbag is. That's what I told my friend to tell them.
Yeah.
Who would pull this shit.
So you were or this person was at the self-checkout line, or this was...
Oh yeah. Have you been to a Walmart in the last 5 years?
No.
They've got the biggest one. They even have like plenty of room for you. It's different than your Mariano's and your Jewels. Like it's a whole thing. And the kid acts up, and then it's over. It's over.
Look,
hey,
they installed...
back. Thanks for joining the chat.
They installed these self-checkout lines as a convenience for people who have 4 or 5 items who are looking to get out of the store quickly. Well, Larcher or Grandma has a cart full of shit. That is what they're intended for. They're not intended to close all the lines and take people's jobs and force people to use these lines. But that's what they're doing. And you're absolutely right. If you're not discounting, if you're charging me a premium for service... And by the way, the food prices are inflated. And look, I understand that. We have to pay that inflation. There's nothing we really could do about it. The company still has to exist and make money. But you're charging an extra premium for service you're not providing, there should automatically be a discount at that point. And it's ridiculous that they continue to just allow it. We just accept it to happen. Nobody complains. I was the only asshole yelling. Some other guy said something because the lady was doing the check. He's like, I'm not bagging my stuff. And same thing. They went over and they bagged.
Oh,
the
you
stuff
did a
for her.
service then that day, because the other guy probably said it after hearing you. So thank you, Al.
Yeah.
Way to go. Way to go. I'm excited. You mentioned Aldi earlier. I'm going to have a walkable Aldi within the next few months here over at Six Corners. I'm very, very excited about this.
Good,
Maybe
good.
a little too excited. We're getting a
Yeah,
Target
Aldi.
on the Six Corners too. And that's our Jewels right over there as well.
You're going to be disappointed with Aldi and Target. There's a Target on every corner. I don't know why we need another Target.
Al, I've never been disappointed with an Aldi. I enjoy it. I think
You
it's
will
great.
be disappointed.
I don't mind working
you right now.
No, I'm an Aldi shopper already. You think I'm going to become like disappointed now with the new one, with the walkable Aldi?
I guess if you're already an Aldi shopper, but the
Well, I
selection
mean,
at
you
Aldi
do have to stop at two places. I used to do quite often the first couple of years here, pandemic-ish too. Aldi stop down on Diversey, and then Belmont and Cesaro, as I call it, Cesaro Avenue. Would stop there at Belmont over at Tony's. And if you do two, it's good. You save the money at Aldi first and get all the shit that doesn't matter. Then you go somewhere else to get good stuff.
I want to go to Tony's. Like Tony's there's always a checkout person. There's always a bagger. It's busy. And the selection isn't great, but the selection isn't horrible. I wish I could go to Tony's. Unfortunately, Tony's closes at like 10. And by the time we finish this show, sometimes it's hard to get there.
Well, you
but
told
Tony,
me when I first moved up to the neighborhood, you're like, Tony's, huh? You kind of shrugged at it, but go ahead. Like, the hours are good. They have smaller aisles than your Jewel.
They do have smaller aisles. There's a little harder to navigate. It's not ideal, but right now, of all the places, I would rather luxury shop. I'd rather pay more for better service, which I thought Mariano's provided. Mariano's isn't providing that anymore. Jewel has gone to shit. They've completely fallen off the map. Like that place is, it's a wasteland. It's like playing Fallout.
It's not what it once was. Two-Tone Chi-Town says, sometimes I'd rather get the fuck out of there than waiting in line. Sometimes that extra time is worth the cost. And I've got to go there with that. There are times I've got, 10 items in my cart. I don't need to go wait. Like there is a spot for it. And I'm not too old that I can't use the self-checkout, that I don't mind doing it sometimes, but you're right. Yeah. Like, why isn't there an automatic 5% off to come over there? Fucking 5%. That's nothing. I get my prescriptions refilled over at the Osco. Every 5 times they give me a 20% off groceries. Every 5 times I fill a prescription, 20% off groceries. Why can't they do it just for going through that line?
It was designed for that purpose, and that purpose is perfectly acceptable by me. The problem is, so Jewel, when I went to Jewel a couple weeks ago, they had 3 people working the automated checkout line and 0 lines open. And Jewel has a policy now where you have to ask for the bags at the auto checkout line. They're not there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you have to wait. You have to get up to this.
How long ago did you notice this?
About 2 weeks ago.
That's frustrating. Oh, fuck. Here's the thing. I was very good at bringing my own bags. Very good. Once that whole tax went in, bags all the time. Great. Sometimes, hell, I'd leave the bag in the car. I'd just put it back in the what do you call that thing? The cart. I'd put them back in the cart. Then I'd bag them in the fucking out there because I'm like, I'm not paying the 7 cents. Then the pandemic happened. Then they stopped charging for a while. Well, let me tell you, I got really used to it again, and I haven't brought a fucking bag, but twice maybe since. Twice.
The bags are still in my trunk, and I don't even use them. And I heard that Mariano's won't touch your bags unless you use their bags.
They still won't, because none of them were doing that for a while. I mean, but they still won't. Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah, unless you use their branded bags, they won't.
Whole fucking show on this.
Yeah. So
No, they won't touch your bags, and they're going to say it's because of germs, right?
right, but they'll touch them
Meanwhile,
if
we're
they're
touching
Mariano.
everybody's groceries. We're touching everybody's stuff.
But you're not listening. If you brought in a bag that's owned by Mariano's, they'll do it.
Oh, that's frustrating.
So if you use their branded bags, the reusable bags, they'll do it. But if you bring in a reusable bag from another place, they won't do it, and they'll
What
cite
if-
germs, which makes no sense.
What if I bring back the non-reusable Mariano's bag to Mariano? You know what I mean? Like just the regular grocery plastic bag. I bring that thing back. Are they going to fill it? It says Mariano's on it. That's what I want to know. I'm
Question.
in.
I just
If
threw
anybody out
out
there
like
can find
50
the answer
bags.
to that, please do.
So Sunday morning, it's about 5:30 in the morning, and
Hey, do you have to get to the grocery tonight?
yeah, but I'm probably
Right.
just gonna go to Jewel at this point,
Okay.
you know,
All right.
unless we end in the next half hour, which we probably will. But
Yeah.
so Sunday morning, I'm finishing up my fantasy work. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I start hearing zzz out my front window. Well, I live across the street from a body shop, and sometimes they'll work in the middle of the night. I don't know what they're doing, but they're working in the middle of the night. So I didn't think much of it, but then I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So I look out the window and I see described vehicles, but I see this like black mini SUV with tinted windows and dudes in like hoodies and
Yep.
ski masks,
Did you see a
and
gun?
they were definitely packing heat. I didn't actually see a gun, but there was a guy standing out watching. Now this isn't a side street. This is on Elston Avenue, 3 blocks from the police station. So I'm looking, and these guys are pros, man. They're dressed like the crew from Heat, the movie Heat.
Yeah.
There's one guy, he's sliding underneath. They're handing parts back and forth. They do this in like a minute, and I don't know what to do. Like you screamed, you say something and draw the attention of these people to your window. You know, clearly the house, you know, that I'm the only like house in the block. Do I, go out there and get my ass kicked or get shot? Like what do I do? They were very intimidating. So I watch them do this and they're gone. And I see them pull down Keeler, the side street right here, which means they're either going to just hit the highway or they're going to make a U-turn and come back around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I see them come back around, back onto Keeler, across the street now from my place. Now I get a great view of them doing this. So I dial up 911 and I'm like, hey, listen, the catalytic converter thieves, they're across the street right now and they got a crew. And they're like, are they white guys? Are they black guys? Are they brown guys? I'm like, look, man, they got ski masks. There's a dude with, I think he's got a gun. They're in the tinted windows. They're like, well, describe the vehicle. I'm like, lady, I don't know cars. I don't know what to tell you. It's a thing. It's got 4 wheels, kind of looks like an SUV, but it's not as big as an SUV. It's got tinted windows. Like, lady, I'm the wrong person to describe a car. I'm sorry, I'm not more helpful. Why don't you just send the police? She's like, sir, we're filing the thing. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. She's like, don't approach him. I'm like, I don't know. So I watched them take another one of these catalytic converters, and then they drove off. The police never came. They never even drove by to see what was going on.
How much?
10 minutes later, because there's no police. Chicago is absolutely lawless right now.
How much do those
cost? The criminals are figuring that out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How much do those cost?
To repair, it's $1,000 to $2,000.
Wow. Yeah. What am I going to get for that? If I were
those guys,
are
probably getting.
How much am I going to get?
They're probably getting $500 for those things.
Jesus, that's unreal. I got to clean out the garage. We got to park the car inside. I think we haven't had the issue here yet, but it's going to happen. I mean,
my car has gotten a lot louder, and I think mine might have been taken. I'm not 100% sure. When I hop in the car tonight, I'm really going to listen because my car's been loud since I bought it. I think there's been a hole in the exhaust, but yeah, I don't know. It suddenly got a
nothing
little
bad
louder.
ever happens in the suburbs. That's right. Everything's so fucking great. Jesus, come on,
man. I would 100% rather be in the suburbs.
No. I'd rather have 10 Cadillac converters stolen off my car than to have to fucking live outside of this city. Let's just say that.
You'd rather lose $10,000 plus dollars.
10 of them. 10 of them. That's fine.
that live in the
Do you want
suburbs.
do you want 10 grand? Take it. I don't give a shit.
You can't handle the truth.
Just wait until somebody steals our converter tonight. I'm gonna be fucking bitching tomorrow, like motherfucker. Al, that's an insane situation to watch. I watched a gentleman ram into 3 cars out front of here a couple years ago, early stages of the pandemic, drunk off his ass. He couldn't even get back in his car when he got to the corner. And, the police were called by 3-4 different people. They came and they reluctantly walked over to find him as he had walked away. And I go, I see him right there. And they reluctantly went. Like, I don't know. We're in a weird spot.
Well, I live the nightlife. I don't go to bed till about 6, 7, 8, 9 in the morning, and I get off work about 2 to 3 in the morning, and I see everything going on. And I can tell you right now, there's zero police anywhere, and businesses are starting to shut down. You can't. It's hard. 7-Elevens are very inconsistent. There's 3 to 4 7-Elevens on my drive home. Usually one of them will be open. All the others will have signs on the door that they're closed because they don't want to deal with the shit going on. And the one that was open had a lady, she was trying to buy Hennessy and she was fighting with the guy. There were dudes who it looked like they were heavies. The 7-Eleven by my house has been robbed about 3 times. Again, 2 blocks from a police station. So, man, once this starts affecting the daytime, things are going to get serious because there is no police right now, and criminals are starting to realize this. People who aren't criminals, who may be hurting for money, are starting to realize this. You could shoot somebody in the head in the city of Chicago, and you have a 60, unless it's a domestic dispute, you have a 60% chance of getting away with it. 60%. You could be a serial killer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there are serial killers here. Why would you not come here to be a serial killer?
I mean, this is a great.
Paul says that I can't find parking reliably where I live. False. First of all, I can park my fucking bike anywhere I want. You don't need a car where I live. Second of all, there's plenty of parking here. Plenty of parking in front of my house, next to my house, across the street, in my garage, wherever. There's plenty of parking. I don't have cats stolen every day. Al, I'm sorry. Watch out for Rygar. Rygar could get. And taxes are higher in a lot of other places outside of the city. I am happy that I stayed. I'll be happy when I eventually move to the suburbs because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to miss this city, and I'm going to tell people which suburb I live in, and I'm not going to tell them I live in Chicago. How about that?
It sounds like a good
Are we okay?
plan. I mean,
Although mortgage rates are now like 7%, can't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to get out of the city of Chicago as quick as possible, man.
I mean, if it was viable for our family to be somewhere else, I would, but it's not. It doesn't make sense right now. So
You'll get your chance, smart guy.
You mean Montana? I hear Florida's a little bit cheap. Man, Al, I watched that Mitch's videos and stuff. Whew, you mentioned it Friday morning.
Yeah.
From Fort Myers. And then, you visited there, and I've visited there with Todd's on one trip. And then I've been there a few times with the family. Like, it's gone. Like, it's all
Fort Myers,
just they got rocked.
Man.
And I remember looking at the forecast a few days before and a couple days before, and it was all looking to go north of there. Like, they weren't really ready for that. It took the whole damn thing. That whole beach is gone. It's crazy.
I'm so torn because I want to leave Chicago, but if I go down south, I'm terrified of spiders, and they got real spiders. I love Florida, and I think I would be able to put up with the spiders, and I like the crazy, and I think I could be one of those guys on the news doing stupid stuff.
Sure.
Winning poker tournaments with butt plugs, but the hurricanes worry me. I can't go to the Midwest because of the damn tornadoes. I'm turning into Howard Stern. I'm not going to leave the house. I'm stuck in Chicago because the crime I could deal with. I'm fine with a gun. I'm fine with people shooting me. I'm okay with that. But a little spider forget about it, man. I'm out of there. I'm
I
selling
heard
the house.
you mentioned Howard Stern. I heard that Kimmel was in New York doing his show last week, and he was on the Howard Stern show, and Howard had him fucking zoom in for it while he's there.
Yeah, no.
Like
Howard has not been in
nobody's
this.
coming over. Nobody's even like
They,
stepping into the house, huh? He's that wow.
they're never doing the. I think the studio is done. I don't think they're doing the show from the studio ever again.
Wow.
And he
And
hasn't left the house.
He talks about it, I would imagine, huh?
I don't listen to him. I listen to old stuff. He
Okay.
hasn't left the house since 2020. But for the first time ever, he went to dinner with Jimmy Kimmel and like Jennifer Aniston and some other people a couple nights ago. That was the first time he's gone out of the house since.
Okay.
The
I saw Kimmel being interviewed somewhere where he mentioned he's like, I don't know, I'm trying. So maybe he got it. That's funny. That's what about the Southwest? How are you with Scorpions?
No Scorpions.
What about,
I'm watching this.
What about Orange County, California?
There's too many bikers.
Montana.
I'm watching. Montana's probably the spot. I'm watching this show on Chiente on Vicente Fernandez, El Rey, and they had a saying in Mexico that I thought was interesting. Like it was something like, you have to look under every rock, but beware because that's where scorpions hide. I thought that was a good saying, so I'm going to be incorporating that into my language.
Yeah, fair enough. I just created this caption. I didn't mean to put it up there, Al, but pro wrestling. We're in a wild times for pro wrestling. Just a few years ago, I was so excited about it. I was so pumped. We went to All In, the first independent show to sell 10,000 seats, the first show outside of WWE to do it. We were there. We were there a year ago when CM Punk came back. And now I don't know where to turn. Like, I don't know where to turn to watch a good wrestling show. I can't find it anywhere, Al. And you and I were discussing earlier. I think that AEW is I think they have taken what was once a superb opportunity to have something great happen, and I think they've squandered it. I think that they are the worst to even give it a shot. Like everything that they've done since CM Punk won that title when we were there on Labor Day weekend, what happened moments after that to now, and there were things before, I guess, too, but now, like, it's a fucking shit show. It's a mess. That place is in horrible, dire straits. Like, they have people who are airing their laundry all over the place. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't see how that company can survive. Like, it might be time for the old man to say, Tony, we're done with this project.
Well, it's a situation that he doesn't have a lot of control over. He has control over how to stop it going forward. He has control over how to punish these guys and make an example of them. But you can't stop people from being children on Twitter. I don't think AEW's is in horrible of a shape as you say it is. I don't think it's good right now. I don't like the product.
You don't watch it.
I've stopped watching it.
You stopped watching it. You're protesting it.
Because, right now WWE is so good. Like, it is just a great product. Well, you shake your shoulder because you refuse to watch it.
I mean, some people
you're
enjoy
stubborn.
it.
You're stubborn and you're being a child about it. Like, I understand that. But
I've seen highlights.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. But I mean, it's not a show that I watch. Like, it's fine.
I know you choose not to watch it, and that's cool, but it's really good right now. That's pretty much a consensus feel. That's not like just an Al opinion. That's pretty much across the board. The stuff with the White Rabbit is so good. It's so intriguing.
Monday nights are for football, if I can watch sports at all, or Quantum Leap, or catching up on the watch.
Oh, and by the way, you have such horrible taste, man. I went and I watched that second episode of Quantum Leap because you said it got better.
You gotta watch the third. You gotta watch the third. You gotta finish it. Al, you're gonna love the finish of it. I'm not fucking with you this time.
No,
Last week I get 100% it,
not.
but this time you're gonna get some things. You're gonna get some things that are gonna make you feel pretty good about it.
No,
Now,
it's
yes, a lot
horrible
of the
program.
show is just like watching NCIS Part 6 or whatever one they're doing. Sure, it's very similar to all of these other shows, but
It's shitty. It is
you're
a
gonna be
shitty show.
happy if you watch it. Don't let it spoil you. Watch the end. Give this thing the. You've watched a lot of shows that were shitty through parts of them. You're watching, like you're
Parts of
watching
them, that's
shows.
all of this.
Nope.
All
just
of it is
every time.
shitty. I was halfway through this. They were on this spaceship. They're on this spaceship, and nothing is happening. The story is slow, dull, and I don't care about the life outside of the leap. It's garbage. The show is just horrible. So halfway through the program, I turned it off. I didn't even finish it. Another movie I watched that was absolute horseshit is the new Munsters movie. That could be the worst piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Halfway through that white zombie monster movie, I turned it off.
Quantum Leap, episode 3. Maybe just skip to the last half hour. Maybe the last 20 minutes. Or no, watch it. I think it felt like less of the future in this. It felt like less of back, it felt like they showed more. We discussed this after the first week. That was part of the big issue. That's part of the issue with the show. Part of the old show's charm is that you're kind of stuck there back with him, and your only connection is Al, right? Like that was it. Al in the hand link talking to Ziggy. Watch.
It was a very small cast, yes.
Give this a
Now
few
it's a very
weeks
large
and then
cast.
fast forward through it. Watch a few episodes. Do what I do when I have to put a show down for a few weeks and then bring it back. I was kind of hopeful that this show we could break it down each week, but I don't think we're at a place where we can. I don't think it's good
I'm not
enough.
watching this show.
Okay, not yet, but you're going to pause it for a few weeks and then you're going to pick it back up.
It had its chance.
This is the same. It's an extension of the show. It's a sequel. I'll share a couple articles with you. You're going to want to watch it.
I've read articles because I was fishing to see if people find it as horrible as I do.
They went kind of all Ziggy on it this time. A little bit of Al with Ziggy, like helping Sam out. It was very much like
Ziggy was a machine
still here.
that was unseen.
Ziggy's still here. Ziggy's still not seen. You don't see Ziggy.
No, now I see the scientist who runs Ziggy. Like I need to know who that is.
You used to see him too. They were the twins from Terminator 2. Remember those guys? Yeah, they were those guys.
Would you see him once once a season? They might show them.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Like horrible. They ruined the show.
They also need a new audience too. They can't just like cater to us old guys like they can. This White Rabbit thing, it sounds like it's real. It sounds like there's a chance that Bray Wyatt could be coming back, huh?
Well, it's definitely Bray Wyatt, but it's just so interesting how they're doing it.
Why am I interested if I already know?
Because it's so cool. It's very cool how they're doing it. The story is compelling.
All right, cool. What's cool? I'm in. Tell me what it is. Why is it cool?
Well, they're flashing there's like hidden messages throughout the show that unless you're paying attention, you're not seeing. Like a guy might walk through this, like in the middle of the show, there might be somebody in the crowd walking by holding up a sign that has a barcode on it. And if you scan that barcode, it might show a picture of Jesus. And the picture of Jesus might be the, Da Vinci's picture of Jesus, which came out in 1693. And if you break down every letter from that year, it spells out the word Bray. Like little hidden messages like that. Or Alexa Bliss was talking the other day. How do you know
that that's them and that's not just somebody walking by with a sign fucking with you?
You don't. That's the genius of it.
Oh, okay.
There's there was like this cool like barcode thing that happened, and then if you tracked it, you have to play like CSI. If you followed the clues, it led you to a phone number, and if you called the phone number, this creepy message played. Just like cool stuff like that, like things that are way outside of the box of traditional television and traditional wrestling. It's just fun. It's something fun to do. I don't do all that shit. I just go on Reddit and read, what everybody did the investigation on.
So but this isn't just some Reddit shit where people are overthinking everything and looking into everything way too much. They're not just like, oh, I saw this. I saw a hat in the audience, and that guy wearing the hat, he had a hat that
No.
looked like a hat of Bray Wyatt's second cousins. And then that second cousin was wearing a kitten on their shirt. And that kitten said, meow, I'm Bray. It's not like that. Like, I don't know.
No, it's here's one from Reddit from September 30th. During
Oh,
SmackDown today,
okay.
September 30th,
Your
a
blog talk
QR code was shown directly following a promo video from Karrion Kross. The QR code led to this link, which is a video showing short clips from Disney's Three Little Pigs, Silly Sympathy, and a Morse code message. The Morse code translates to Aziel, a half demon, half angel biblical figure that has direct relationship with Yom Kippur, which happens to be Wednesday. Starts on Tuesday, but for dramatic purposes, it goes to Wednesday. Going through the source code, the developers seem to be having a fucking field day with this shit. The bottom right of the video shows a tiny white rabbit image. The direct link to the image is here. The image's file name starts with TSS10E6, which is common format for the file names of TV shows. You know, we download shit. TS stands for The Simpsons. Season 10, Episode 6. The episode, which is called Doe in the Wind, which has a musical montage featuring the song White Rabbit. The quote, I'm the way into the city is woe, is from Dante's Inferno. The ending to that poem is abandon all hope, you who enter here. The door to the Firefly Funhouse had a sign that read, abandon all hope, ye who exit here. So like everything, like you follow all this crazy shit and it just leads to stuff that all leads to Bray Wyatt, but it's stuff that Bray Wyatt's been planting for years over the character. And he's using things like episodes of The Simpsons to get you to see the message. Like that's some deep shit. Like that is some really well thought out conspiracy
all of like
stuff.
Bray Wyatt started this years ago and was thinking of it all. And it's all him. And he has thought of it all. So then he must be the one posting on Reddit these things, or it's somebody from WWE posting.
I wouldn't be shocked if somebody from WWE is posting and explaining it. But fans are definitely following it. And you know, there's been a ratings increase. People are excited about it. And then the Sami Zayn stuff with the bloodline is just incredible. It's well acted. The story is solid. It's fun. There's just and then the stuff with Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins getting all personal. You know, Seth Rollins telling Matt Riddle, like, look, you can't even see your kids anymore. And then, you know, Matt Riddle being like, look, you're always second best. You're second best to Roman. You're second best to your wife who headlined it at WrestleMania, something you've never done. Like, it just, and now they're having a pit fight, like, with
Didn't he win the
Cormier.
title? Didn't he win the title at WrestleMania?
Yeah, he did. He did, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought he did.
But he wasn't booked. He wasn't booked as the main event. Like he had to cash in a Money in the Bank. You know, it wasn't the hyped main event of the card.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. I know you refuse to watch it because you're being, you know, you're stopping. You're the kid who doesn't want to try something you don't like.
I don't have any time. Like I just don't. I wish I did. I don't have time to watch their programming, and I guess maybe I should follow it more on Reddit, and that would help. So I'm sure it would.
But instead of saying that, you shit on it when we talk about it. Like whenever there's like talking about it, you know, you like
that's what buddies do. They shit on things about stuff, but you take it personally. Like I don't.
Oh, I don't take it personal. You act like a little kid with it. You like you don't have any enjoyment with it. You like.
I know. I don't. I'm not into it. Is it okay that I'm not into it? Like you're not into Quantum Leap. It sucks. So what? I'm not.
Yeah, but then like we're in a wrestling group, and we're talking about wrestling, and you're just like, I don't care. I'm not into it. Like, okay, well, we are. We're talking about it. If you don't want to be part of the conversation, that's fine. Yeah, with you, me, and Andrew.
Hardly anyone posts in that wrestling group. It's just like Kevin
posts like every day, and then
you might. I thought the group might like this. I thought the group might like this. Like that's
no. I'm talking about with Andrew. I'm talking.
Oh, I just thought that was three guys chatting. I didn't know it was a wrestling group.
Yeah, it was always right. It's always been.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. I'll watch.
You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to watch something. I wanted to watch a movie, right? and my buddy wanted to watch Cheech and Chong. And I said, this is stupid. And I refused for years to enjoy Cheech and Chong because of that. I didn't want to admit the show was funny because I was so like set in my ways that I was right that it was horrible, that I missed out on having fun with Cheech and Chong. So, like, I mean, that's you with WWE, and that's fine, but it's clear that's what's going on.
I'm sorry that you missed out. That's rough.
Yeah, the point just went right over your head, but that's okay.
What?
So, in my model this week,
You
and
watch Cheech and Chong now?
yeah, in my model this week, and we'll get to this on Friday morning. But right now, one of the highest rated players in my model is Justin Fields. So
No. Against Minnesota.
yeah,
Why?
against Minnesota.
What's wrong with us?
Probably game environment and price. I mean, he's 5,300.
Yeah. Okay, then. I mean, yeah, I guess that works, huh? No? Hang on. What, Justin Fields is your number one on quarterbacks. Who else?
Well, he's not number one, but he's in the top 5. It's Josh Allen's rated the highest, of course. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyle Murray, Justin Fields. So it's the usual. You know, Patrick Mahomes not projecting well, but he usually doesn't because his price gets so high. Yeah. And then, you know, Tom Brady's toast, Russell Wilson's toast, Aaron Rodgers is toast.
Really? Aaron Rodgers is gone?
I mean, he's just not – he doesn't have a very good offense. He's 6,300 against the New York Giants. I mean, I'm definitely going to look. But one of the problems with the Green Bay Packers is they play very slow. The pace of the game is very, very slow. So there's not a lot of offense in Packer games. So, you know, it's just hard to invest in a ceiling with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, he's won slates. Like, he's made people millionaires in the Millie Maker. So when he's low owned, I mean, he's definitely worth looking at, especially against the New York Giants. But realistically, he's probably not going to hit a very high ceiling, where a guy like, you know, Kyle Murray, nobody's going to play. He's 7,400 and he has a 30-point ceiling, you know, which is comparable. I mean, Josh Allen has a 40-point ceiling. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts have 35-point ceilings. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's a better week than last week, but there's still not a lot of great matchups. The Philadelphia Eagles, Arizona Cardinals. I mean, that looks to be the hot game this week.
Yeah. What's the over under at right now?
I could pull that up here. Let's click on Vegas. Over under. The top over under at 51 points is Vegas, Kansas City, which is not in the main slate. The second highest is Philadelphia, Arizona, which is at 49. So 49.
Okay.
It's the second highest.
That's so wild. Like when we got to the Detroit Seattle game on the show on Friday, I'm just like, I can't believe we're here. And then that's the game that absolutely lit it up.
Yeah. And we talked about that. We talked about that on the Friday show. I told you it was one of the 3 games I was really looking at, and it delivered. Absolutely. I did start fading it when DJ Shark was out. Like when both his wide receivers were out, I'm like, I don't know if Jared Goff could hit his ceiling. Like, you know, there was realistic questions if that was a playable stack. I still played a lot of it, and I did okay with it. I ended up in my single entry going with the Arizona Cardinals, which wasn't a bad stack, but it wasn't a good stack either. And I lost, you know, $50 on that game. But yeah, I mean, Jared Goff got the job done. And he, you know, Hopkinson was extremely highly owned. Like everybody was in on Hopkinson, the tight end. Mm-hmm. So I faded him because his ownership just became too high. I did play him some in stacks, but overall I faded him, and that was probably my biggest mistake on the week. because you really needed his 42 DraftKings points to do anything in any tournament. So you have to gauge ownership, and if ownership is worth taking on. And he was projecting at 30% ownership. He finished at 27.7% ownership. So he was played a lot. And the contrarian thing to do on a guy in that situation is to fade him. And I did, and I was wrong, and it hurt me. That's why I didn't have a profitable week, was that one decision. I also faded Khalil Herbert and or I played Herbert, but I faded Williams and Josh Jacobs, and both of them had really good weeks. They were both projected to have very good weeks, but their chalk was so high, I wanted to make the pivot off of them, and I thought Herbert of the three would have the good week, and I was wrong on that. So those were my two mistakes. Everything else was right, and if I just would have played those guys, I would have made a lot of money this week. So just a bad stuff, but the process works, and I played towards the process. So
Yeah. No, that's good. Friday morning, I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to take a look at things. I've been dropping the ball the last 2 weeks in daily fantasy. I don't see myself winning in Rainmakers again this year. I can't put together teams that are worth the spit. In the past, I've been able to, at least make my money back, or at least part of my money back during that week in daily fantasy. I'm not doing it. And here I am doing a new show on Friday mornings with you. I don't know if that's what's jinxing me here. I don't know if I'm not paying enough attention to fantasy and I'm like trying to put it into like doing the show. I have no clue. But 2 years ago, everything was roses in fantasy football. I won year-long leagues. I was winning in daily fantasy. Last year, I could at least win your league. This year, hell, I didn't even get into it 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm struggling, Al. What is my problem? What is my major problem?
well, you don't listen to me enough. That's your first problem. I mean, if
Okay.
not, you would have been on all over Rashad Penny and had a good week this week. But and you would have chosen between the Lions game and the Falcons game, and you would have made money there. But anyways, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a law of averages, and you're gonna lose, and you're gonna find yourself in slumps. I've been in a slump for 2 weeks now. Even my year-long stuff, I've been a little better than average. I think I'm in the lead in 2 of my leagues, and my head's above water in both high-stake games, and my head's above water in the Scott Fish Bowl. So, I'm not dominating by any means. I'm not in first place in any of those, but I'm in about third place and competing in just about everything I'm in right now, except like my league, which I always lose. And then that fucking Ross's league. I don't think the math adds up. I think he has some kind of thing on my account where I'm negative 10 points every week. And because I looked and I started doing the math, and I'm like, I have more points than what's showing here. Like, I think there's some kind of scam going on in the Ross league.
Well,
that I
Ross's
lose
defensive
constantly.
scoring has always been something else. Like, he changed it a lot during the Hester years because he said that shouldn't count for the Hester touchdown shouldn't count for the defense, and they were counting for the defense, something like that. There were a lot of things in there. So I've noticed that, like, when I had the same defenses playing in his league and in others, I'll have like 6 extra points just from the defensive alone. But that's part of the league, and that's part of what you have to do to try to win it, Al. I challenge you to try to win that league.
Well, I would, but there's a dude who's got like, I have a really good team. Like, I really like my team.
Mhm.
But I can't win games. And the guy I played last week, who's number 1 in the league, has like a super team.
Pitt
He's
Creek?
got Josh Allen, Tariq Hill, McLaurin,
Yep.
McCaffrey, AJ Dillon, Goddard, Mike Evans. He's got fucking Brian Robinson Jr. on IR, ready to pop any minute now. I mean, the guy's so deep. that it's like impossible. And I almost beat him. I mean, I was within 5 points of beating him, but for whatever reason, my receivers seem to not score any points. I know it's a half point PPR, but there's something about scoring that just doesn't sit well with me, and I don't know why or what it is, but I haven't put my finger on it, but maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe I'm just a baby, but
I
which is
do
very
know
possible.
that there in foosball 2022, I am in third place. I'm 3-1, a few spots ahead of you, Al, at 2-2 currently. I don't see that holding up throughout the year in that league. The sleeper league, the Tiki League, you're the commission. You're not sitting so hot in that league this year. I'm not doing worth a shit. I'm in dead last. I came out of the draft. I was everything looking like roses, and I can't win a damn game. Al, this week I finally didn't put up many points and lost, but so far this year up ahead, like I lost 2 games where I put up the second or third most points in the league. And I'm getting crushed.
It's a 3 division league, and I'm in second place in my division in a game back. Although the guy who's in front of me, I have a win over. I'm his one loss, but he does have the point advantage, so I would stay in second place even if he lost in a week. Where you've only won 1 game, but you put up a lot of points. You put up more points than me. You put up more points than most people in the league. So your team is fine. You're just getting bad breaks, man. You're playing guys who are
currently the 4th most out of 12. I believe I have the 2nd most points scored against me after you. Well, no, I'm the 3rd. You have 545 points, and I have 541 scored against. People show up against us, Al. They know that we are the fantasy football show people. They know you are the guru. They are gunning for us here. That's the thing. I have people offering me trades every other week that are the worst fucking trades that I've ever been offered in my life, but they're trying to catch me, and they just might. Like if they catch me when I'm pissed, they might get me.
They know not even to make those offers to me because they will be publicly ridiculed. 2 weeks in a row now, I've beaten both of. I've beaten both undefeated teams, so I do have that going for me. I beat Team Green, Jose Verde over there, who looked unstoppable. I took him down this week, and the week prior, I took Charlie Hogan down and gave him his 1 loss on the year. So the 2 guys who have 1 losses, I've beaten both of them. Those are my 2 wins. So it counts for something, I guess.
Yeah,
but I haven't been putting up a lot of points either. So
no, it's something. I can't wait until Friday morning when we have a little bit more of a look on week 5 in DraftKings. This week I'll make sure of it. I have a little bit of time off. I'm not working on Saturday. We are traveling. We may hit up an apple orchard during that trip out to Rockford. We're going to try to get the kids. Got to go visit mom. Haven't been out there to see her. Vera's birthday is this Saturday on the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire. We're having the family. Yeah, we're having the family birthday party. 151 years since the fire. 4 years since Vera was born. We're having the family party on the 15th. This Friday is going to be her friend's party, which is like 3 friends. Really, it's just a happy hour party. But then Saturday, we're going to head out to Rockford, I think. I think we might grab a hotel out there with a nice swimming pool because I put the tarp on the pool. The kids were very sad. They tried to stop me from putting it on. No, Daddy, don't put it on. And I'm like, well, I could leave it off, but you're not going to swim. It's too cold. I don't know.
Do you drain it or does it stay full of water?
So it's above ground pool, Chicago. You don't have in ground. With above ground pools, you drop it below the drain level where the hose comes in the outlet thing. You drop it below that and you just leave it in. If you don't leave the water in, then it collapses. So you leave it that high. You throw in some algicide before the season, make sure that it's shocked pretty good, cover it up. And however you cover it, when you open it back up in the winter, that's how it looks. The neighbors, they don't cover theirs. It turns into a green shit through the fall because it gets a little warmer sometimes and this and that. But if you cover it and you don't get leaves in it, it holds on to that until the spring.
Does it freeze?
Yeah, it'll freeze.
And that doesn't expand and damage the pool?
No,
I mean, they probably
no.
factor that in, I would guess.
No, and then the top of it, like that'll freeze on top of it too. But whenever it thaws, you throw a pump on it, and then you drain it out into the alleyway. There, just don't drain it out in the alleyway when everybody's flooding. That's not a good idea. Or do it after it gets dark. That's the thought.
There you go. It's like stealing catalytic converters. You gotta put a ski mask on and
Fucking packing heat. No, I've seen a few videos of those crews, man. They've got it down. Like it's a 2-minute thing, right?
Yeah. It was seriously
2
like the
minutes.
movie Heat.
Yeah.
There was like a guy standing guard out front who was probably the guy packing heat. There were, a guy like passing the tool, grabbing, because I think there's 2 converters in these cars. So they take one, they pass it up. And yeah, I'm starting to think maybe mine is gone.
Pretty soon we're going to be a city where everybody's going to get stopped for everything. It's going to be overdone. Can't wait. I'm so excited.
No, there's no budget for that, Clark. There's no money.
Great. Well, then good.
So
all right.
You don't have to worry about that.
Thank goodness.
But there's going to be a point where the thieves are going to be like, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
All right.
And I feel like it's coming for sure.
Well,
maybe I'm just a worried old man, which is very possible. We're just 2 guys with mustaches doing a show in a basement and an attic.
Oh, holy shit. You got a mustache again. Welcome back. That's good. Looks good.
Well, anyways, I mean, is there anything else to be said?
No.
Don't see the movie The Munsters. It's a waste of time.
Give Quantum Leap a chance. Maybe let it build up a little bit. Get 3-4 episodes.
Avoid Quantum Leap at all costs. It's on demand if you have Comcast. Not worth watching.
Oh boy.
Shark Tank is back, baby. They got out of the studio after the miserable kickoff.
Wait, hang on. They got out of the studio.
Well, they got out. I'm sorry. They got rid of the live studio audience. They did a live show.
Wait, they did just one live show, or were they trying to do it live for a while?
I think it was just a gimmick. The first of the season was live.
Oh, thank goodness. Was that terrible?
I thought you watched it. I thought we talked about how bad it was.
No, I never talked about it with you. That must have been your other Shark Tank.
No, we were tweeting 100%.
I was not tweeting. That was another Clark. That was probably
no, because it was the day after we had a fight, and I'm like, look, I don't want to be mad at you because I have no one to talk Shark Tank with. And then we talked for a minute about how horrible it was. If you haven't watched it, Clark, then you need to go watch the first episode of this season of Shark Tank. They talk over each other. It's just the whole thing's a disaster.
Was it live? Like live broadcast?
Yeah, like live. Oh,
you can't do that. That's the dumbest. Why would you? Who would do a live show anywhere? No.
They had the announcer. They had the announcer in the studio, and then they would ask poll questions like, "Would you buy a butt plug to cheat on chess?" And they'd have like a live, voting. Yeah, it was brutal.
Some gimmicks work, the Dorito taco over Taco Bell. Somehow it worked.
I read on
nope.
Well, the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell's back full time, baby. I think it comes back in like 2 days.
Should I have it? I've never had it.
Yes. You've never had it?
No.
Oh, so good. That was, Patrick and I, when we were kids, we used to get that, and his refrigerator used to be full of Taco Bell sauce. So you'd put the cold sauce on the pizza. It was so good, man.
A sad news, when we got the new fridge, we decided to do away with the condiment tray in it. I had to. Yeah, we aren't saving the condiments like that. But anyway, yeah, Mexican pizza's back. I'm happy. I'll see if Lauren doesn't mind if I throw Shark Tank on tonight. I was just looking to get a week ahead on The Walking Dead here, maybe, but
that show's still on the air,
dude. They now got they have 5 of them coming out. It's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you don't have time for wrestling.
Just wait for come on. I don't have a choice.
Unbelievable.
I've got somebody who gets half of the choice on this, or else all right. Thanks for doing the show with me tonight. I'll try to be a better wrestling companion and talker in the future. I don't mean to shit on your product. I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
It's not my product. It's not my product. I like all the products.
Okay.
I've been a supporter of every product. Warrior Wrestling had a great show this week.
You don't watch AEW?
I do. I follow it. I listen to podcasts about it. I read results, and if something sounds interesting, I will check it out. I watch their pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I still wear their merchandise. I still wear my AEW hoodie. Like,
Nice.
I'm
All right.
enjoying watching the politics of it and the implosions. Interesting.
When it all comes out that it's all been a part of a long-term ploy, tell me this, Al. Why on earth there is a pro athlete, a pro wrestler who is known as, he was out of the business for 7 years, and at his previous gig, he and management didn't get along at all. It didn't go well. And you're trying to tell me now that they aren't gonna that he's gonna do the same damn thing again, and they're not gonna make it part of the storyline, that it's all just bullshit? It just seems a little too convenient to me that they did this and they're doing it all, and they're trying to make it look so real. And it's so real that it's like, oh, we'll put it on Twitter and then we'll make it happen like this, to where it looks like, and we're going to do this before, but yet you do all this stuff where you're like, oh, the Bray Wyatt stuff's so smart. They're planning all of this year.
Because it's leading somewhere, Clark. It's not erasing your champions.
This could lead
to
erasing.
It's not erasing your title.
It's giving it.
And as I pointed out to you, the argument is over
history. It's giving it a controversial history.
The argument is over whether a guy hit another guy too hard in a fake wrestling match.
Hit a guy too hard.
That's not, like, you can't tell that story on air. So it's not really going anywhere productive.
They always have. Like the NWO, that was their thing. Like that's what like it is.
Yeah, but they never argued about if a guy hit another guy too hard in a match. That was never like.
I hear wrestlers talking about that all the time.
Right. But they don't do it within storylines, within angles.
Exactly. They haven't done it in storylines before. Maybe you're trying something new. Maybe you're giving it something new.
That's logical.
That's
all
my
right, Clark.
Why would you not? Why would you not? I don't
acknowledge me.
I don't it's so dumb. If it's not, it's the dumbest fucking thing, and I should just stop watching it.